I thought to myself, it was too close. And believe it or not,
Yeah.
I thought, that Triple G won by a point.
Wow. Wow.
Well,
Wow.
that's what I thought. But
Hmm.
but after what I saw today, really no sound, nothing from the audience, nothing from the commentary. It was different.
It was.
I am the greatest. I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass. You won't do shit with this stuff. Just stick and move. And waking you up and saying, now stick and move. Keep your hands up.
Sam, leading up to the Triple G versus Canelo fight, what was it,
Hmm.
5, 6 years ago? What was
Yes.
your initial reaction to that happening?
Um, we got to remember, Triple G
Yeah.
was considered the boogeyman,
Right. Right.
and Canelo was, he was Canelo. He was
Right.
already, everybody from all over came to watch this guy.
Right.
So when this fight happened, and I remember this fight, when this fight happened, I knew it was going to be a slugfest or some type of, it was going to be a war,
Right.
and I felt, and I was rooting for Canelo. I thought Canelo, he was going to win this fight,
Hmm.
and the anticipation was high, man. We knew that
Right.
Triple G has one of the best chins in boxing,
No
so
doubt about it.
it was going to get tested,
Right.
and so yeah, man, I was hyped up. What
Yeah.
about you? How'd you feel about the fight?
Well, you know, where we're from the border of Texas, right on the bottom of
Mm-hmm.
Mexico. So we always heard of Canelo coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And when we saw Canelo very young, we were able to see his maturation. We were able to
Yeah.
see his growth, all the way from when he was fighting Diaz, and then moving up all the way to fight Trout, and then going to against Mayweather at the age of, what, was 22, 23 years
Yeah.
old.
23. Yeah.
So he was just constantly moving up, not only in weight, but also just for the challenges. So
Mm-hmm.
when he was fighting, like you said, the boogeyman, Triple G, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't really that excited. I mean, he was a few fights away from his loss from Mayweather, but he had been showing dominance after that. Um, it's just such a contrast of what has happened since that fight.
Yes.
Triple G, you're right, was the boogeyman. No doubt
Yes, it
about it.
was.
Nobody wanted to
Mm-hmm.
fight him. He never
Mm-hmm.
got out of 160. He stayed there almost his entire career, never challenged really anybody. It was all come to me, come to me. And then here's Canelo. It's like, all right, I'll come to you. And you would have thought, because it was a draw, spoiler alert, right? That Triple G's career would have just lifted off, but instead it was the opposite, where Canelo got the negative backlash for this draw, because everybody was saying that it was lopsided. You and I
Mm-hmm.
will talk about that in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And then Canelo's career just took off. I don't know if that was a marketing thing, and Triple G just wasn't really focused on that. But it was just, this will be a fight not only in terms of who they are, or this great potential boxing match, but this would be the fight that would change boxing, the face of boxing, transitioning from Mayweather to now Canelo. So this was that
Yes.
fight to who was going to take the crown from Mayweather. And
Mm.
I don't know. That's just my simple take. You have any thoughts on
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey guys, Trey here. If you love today's controversial episode and you want to see our channel grow, please drop a like, subscribe, and also comment. Sam and I are always going back and forth with those commenters on our controversial topics and opinions, and we love it so much. So go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe, most importantly, so our channel can grow and we can give you guys the best content as possible. Sam and I were always uploading multiple videos a week, and we want to continue doing that, and we need your help. So go ahead and subscribe, guys. And most importantly, like I always say, don't forget to stick and move, baby.
This fight was pretty much for all the doubters,
Mm-hmm.
people that weren't fully in on the old Canelo train.
Right.
And this was gonna let people know how good is he really. You know, he's gonna fight this guy that a lot of people have been avoiding, and that has good power. Let's not forget, he was the first one to break Kell Brook's eye socket. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. Right.
He was the first one, and
Triple G,
so
you're talking about.
Triple G,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, and it was just, you know, if you had some type of thought in your head, is Canelo really that good? You know, let's see what happens. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So yeah, so I saw the fight again,
Mm-hmm.
and I noticed something because I watched the fight without sound this time.
Right. Same here. Same here. By the way, hold on. Let's transition to that. Let's transition to the actual score. Okay. So right here, I'm posting up both of our fights, right? Both of our scorecards. Sorry. I watched it without no sound. You watched it without no sound.
No sound.
What did you know? Oh, before we get to your card, you know, years have passed, right? We've heard all the banter from Mannix, from the judge, or the commentator Mannix, all the way to Teddy Atlas, totally discrediting this draw for Canelo and for Triple G. What were your thoughts before you watched it today? How did you have it scored? Not the specific score because it's been years, but what was your opinion, your thought on it?
Okay, if we go back to that day, I thought to myself, it was too close, and believe it or not, I thought, that Triple G won by a point.
Wow.
That's what I thought. But but after what I saw today, really no sound, nothing from the audience, nothing from the commentary. It was different.
It was different.
This time
before I'm gonna go ahead and post the scores in a minute. Before you talk, we break it down. Let me just give you my quick thought. I remember I had Canelo winning the fight.
Okay.
By a point also.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because, like the way I started, I watched a lot of Canelo. I watched a lot of Triple G. I watched a lot of I'm a boxing guy, my whole life. And what I've noticed is that Canelo changed his boxing style for that fight. And I knew what he was doing. And part of the fight, he was trying to show off his defense. And I think that's what costed him some key rounds that made it closer than I thought. But, so that was my original thought. So when I would tell people I had Canelo winning, people would look at me like I'm crazy. But rewatching it the second time, my opinions have differed in a different way.
Yes.
Okay.
Mine too.
So let's break it down. I'm about to post the score. So here you go.
Yeah.
Okay. So I noticed automatically that you scored it 116-114.
Yes.
I mean, I also noticed that you had Canelo winning the first 3 rounds.
It was the first 4 rounds.
First 4 rounds, right,
yes.
right. And I had Canelo up 3-0 also as well. But go ahead and give your point.
Okay, this is what I noticed this time around, that I saw with no sound, nothing with the crowd, and no commentary. What I missed the first time I ever seen it, what I missed is that a lot of those punches that Triple G was throwing were blocked, were missed.
Right.
It was a lot of show, but there was nothing landed.
Right.
There was nothing landed. Yes, he had some rounds. Yes, the fight was close, but not the way I thought it was. I really, really paid attention, and Canelo was slipping those punches, man.
It looked like to me, now correct me if I'm wrong, guys on the comments, tell me if I'm crazy on this. It kind of looked like Triple G was fighting Olympic style, where it was just mostly about points. Like, let's just quick jabs. But like, you're right. I didn't see any connection of significance, not until, honestly, the 11th round. I didn't see where Triple G was like, okay, maybe I'm a little bit in a draw situation here, or losing or winning by one. I need to separate myself. It just looked like he was just patterning his gloves the entire time. I will admit he did cut off the ring. I mean, that's what Triple G is known for, cutting off the ring. And maybe Canelo fell into that. But watching those first three out of the 4 rounds, even the 4th round, I kind of had it. It could have gone any way on that 4th round.
Yes, exactly.
And you're right. Canelo was landing those clean shots that, and especially that in that 2nd round, that big uppercut.
Yes.
It just seemed like, for me, it depends on what kind of judge you are. Okay. And are you going to base on spouts of flurry? Or are you going to base it on ring generalship or just being the aggressor or moving forward? I don't know. It's a tough line to draw, but I agree with you. So I also noticed on your card here, you had a couple of draws in the 5th and the 10th round.
Yeah, there were swing rounds for me. They could have gone either way. Triple G had the first half. Canelo would take the second half, and I didn't want to take it from Triple G, and I didn't want to take it from Canelo either. So, and what did you have scored on round 5 and round 10?
All right, so round 5, I had that for Triple G.
I was going that way.
Right. Because Canelo did something that I've seen him do before. Early on in his career, he would purposely go against the ropes. And maybe he wasn't, maybe he was, but I know this guy. He was purposely going against, because he wants to show the head move. He wants to show that you're not hurting him. And you know what? You're right about Canelo landing clean connections, combos, because I think that's early on in the fight, because I think that's what's actually what kept Triple G from going blitzing him on the ropes. I've always known Triple G that when he cuts off the ring and he gets the guys on the ropes, it's pretty much over, because he'll go ham on them all day long.
Yes.
But he respected Canelo's countering so much that he couldn't do what he normally does when he has a boxer at the ropes. The counter from Canelo was just too crispy. It was too clean. It was too powerful. And Triple G, in my opinion, missed a tremendous amount of opportunities to really make this a 118, 111 fight.
Yes,
or 117, 112, however you want to score it.
Yeah.
So talk to me about those rounds that you scored.
Look, and the round 5, when Triple G, he had his moments. He had his moments.
He did.
He had his moments. But I noticed something, and I wrote it down. I did notice something, though. I did notice something. Canelo's punches were just much prettier.
They were.
They were just a lot prettier, and they were clear. They were, they just look nicer. In my opinion, that's why I gave that, a swing round. And in round 10, the exact same thing. There was a moment where Canelo shook the Triple G, but shook him. And everybody
that was in the 8th round. That was the 8th round. Yeah, that was the 8th round.
Oh, okay. And the reason I had to make it a swing round, because Triple G came back.
He did.
He came back. And I did notice something in the 6th round that I noticed, that Canelo was gassing out. He was getting tired, and that's why he started moving around more. To conserve energy, or not to waste so much energy.
Right. That's what I was going to say. In rounds 8 through 10, Triple G had the pace. He was doing what he was doing the whole fight, cutting off the ring, and to judges, I think that looks attractive. To the novice watching, he doesn't really watch that much. The girlfriends, the nerdy guys, or whatever, right? The gamers.
Yes, exactly.
they would probably see that, oh well, he's leading the pace, he's like controlling this fight, sort of. But to what you were saying, there was nothing clean. I didn't really see that much clean combos coming off versus I saw in those early 8th and 9th rounds. In the early part of those rounds, Canelo was just doing crazy combos that I don't know if they were as effective as they were earlier in the fight, but I think he was doing those early combos. And to what you were saying, to your credit, I think in the last part of the rounds, Canelo was taking off because he felt like I did enough to win that round.
Yeah, exactly.
Chill out a little bit. I'm going to lean against the ropes. But it goes back to Triple G. I had 8th, 9th, and 10th round going to Canelo.
Yes,
because
yes.
Triple G missed the opportunity. Missed the opportunity. He didn't assert himself as I thought he would. And I think the confusion with judges is that, well, he's walking forward. Canelo's against the ropes. So obviously has some kind of a command over Canelo. And I don't think that's what it is, especially now that it's been years. We already seen over 10 fights with Canelo already. We already know what his defensive scheme is.
Yes,
to a point.
Yeah. And I do. And there was something else that people, well, at least what I saw.
Right.
What made it even more beautiful for me is that defense Canelo had.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not just about punches, in my opinion, but the way he would duck, the way he would bob and weave and not get hit, and use his agility to escape punches, dude. It was a masterpiece. It was a masterpiece, and I loved it. That's what I loved the most.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's what actually started the marketing of Canelo. Not to transition to our next topic, but I think that's why Canelo took off and Triple G didn't really do that. Canelo's, I want to say, elegance as a brawler. I know it's hard to put elegance and brawling into one word, right? To contrast them together, Venn diagram them together. But that, I think people saw that and they're like, okay, like I like his style. And the casual boxing fan is like, wow, he's a brawler, but yet he has that sweet head movement that is very eye friendly. You know, it's attractive, it's marketable. We saw what he did. Yeah, go ahead.
No, he just put a beautiful a boxing, performance, man. And that's why I gave him a lot of rounds, because his punches were just crisp. The way he would duck and bob and weave and come with the uppercut, the overhands, it was just sweet. And Golovkin was chasing him down and throwing all these punches, but
was hitting gloves and elbows.
I saw it, and when they were nodding at each other, like, no, you didn't get me. If you look closely, and if people pay attention, Canelo slipped those punches.
Right, he did.
He slipped them. You know what I mean? And the thing is, from now on, I'm gonna start watching fights with no commentary and no reactions of the crowd, man, because you see a different, boxing match. You know, when you have all that noise.
I agree with you. At that time, Triple G was the darling of HBO, The Zone, Showtime. He was the darling of those commentators. And here was Canelo, who was the young kid at the time, who was taking all challengers, fighting Cotto, fighting Trout, fighting Mosley, and of course Mayweather, of course, and we know what happened there. But Triple G always seemed to have been the darling, considering he never really, besides Kell Brook, really challenged himself. I don't know, maybe that has to do with him being the champ and all, like, you come to me, which people give Canelo hell for that now. So I want to transition very closely to the elephant in the room in the fight. So the judge's bird had Canelo winning 118-110. Versus Moretti and Chirella, who had it 115-113 for Triple G and 114-114 draw. What do you think of the bird scorecard?
He gave Canelo 118-112. Is that what you said?
118, 110.
Dude, then
What fight was he seeing?
dude, he was probably you know what, man? Honestly, he saw those punches being it was that Triple G we're throwing, we're actually missing, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion. He was
So you're
there.
saying, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
So
that he saw it up and close. That a
Right.
lot of punches that Triple G threw were just not landing.
Right.
And he was there. And he saw the punches Canelo was throwing that were crisp and clean, and that's his judgment. What do you
Right.
think about that?
I had my scorecard 115, 113. But there were plenty of rounds where I gave Triple G just because he was pushing the pace, and like I said, Canelo was leaning back. If I'm a judge and I see the guy taking the round off, then and his opponent just pushing forward, I'll give him the round, even if there are spurts of flurry in between. But I think he saw a different fight, and I think he saw exactly what you saw. I think he's a judge that believes that, I think he's a judge that sees those little slips that you're talking about, while the other two judges were seeing the pace that were more attracted to the pace that Triple G had and the leaning back that Canelo was doing. Because Canelo didn't do that the second and third fight. He wasn't leaning back anymore the second and third fight.
No.
But we'll talk about that some other episode. But
exactly.
Yeah. So you're saying you don't blame Bird for that 118, 110.
No, I don't because maybe it was a little too steep, 118, 110, but I could see where he saw there was a lot of punches landed, man.
Right.
I mean, a lot of punches being missed, and I mean, I saw them. They were just not connecting, and there was a lot of them that were hard to tell. But if you look closely, Canelo was blocking him with his gloves.
He was.
So, a lot of punches. So I'm okay. At least I had the final score 116, 114 for Canelo.
All right. Well, there you go, guys. Leave a comment. Tell us what you think. If you think we're idiots, tell us that we're idiots. If you think we're spot on, badass, we'll reply to your comments. Give us on our comments on our IG, our YouTube, our TikTok, all that good stuff. Tell us where we're off, and we'll go ahead and respond. You guys have episode ideas, let us know too.